Hey everybody, happy Beltane, happy beginning of spring. These are pictures of the Jack in the Green Festival, shot in 2009 on May 1st in, I think, Sussex, England. All the pictures, like any pictures used in the Lucifer series, or most pictures, were purchased by a licensing agreement. There's no copyright infringement in any Lucifer series video. This is not the Beltane video I wanted to do. I wanted to do something more elaborate and Lucifer formatted, but I'm gearing up for a huge bash, tribal bash, this weekend with the bunch I call LA Satanic. That is not their name, but I'm not supposed to use their real name in a public video, so I won't. All right, they like their privacy, but these. I'm gearing up for that. I'm going to be doing some of the Joker thing, but you know, as an act between the bands. Not just me. I couldn't sustain that energy all night, but a bunch of us will be clowning around up there. Okay, it should be fun. I hope. If it's not fun, I'm going to step down, wash that makeup up. I hate the makeup. I don't like putting the makeup on, but I like the effect that it has. So sometimes that's what I do. This is the first time I will ever have brought the Joker out in public. Okay, I mean in a live thing. So this is kind of an impromptu video. Okay, it's not the video I really wanted to make, but it's the video. It's the only video I can do on the spot. I've got work to do. I'm busy, and I'm having this huge weekend party, and I've got to prepare for it because I'm part of the talent. Okay, people who may have been impacted by the incredible amount of hurricanes going on in the Midwest have my sympathies. You're going to see more and more of this as climate change gets more and more serious. I know some of you may think climate change is a myth or that there's nothing that people can do about it, but I'm of another view. And speaking of politically charged topics like that, Beltane falls on May Day, okay? It's the whole month of May is Beltane as far as I'm concerned. It's just that time of year, all right? But May Day itself is about International Workers' Day, Labor Day. It's when you honor labor, and the Lucifer series embraces that as much as the to spiritually honor the time of spring. All right. I'm talking about the European Labor Day. We have a different Labor Day. It's not May Day. May Day is the communists, the anarchists, the socialists, and the unions do parades, throughout Europe in honor of labor. Not necessarily all together. They all each have their own parade or something. I'm not a communist. But I do want to express solidarity with labor as opposed to the prevailing monopoly capitalism going on. Now, political and social philosophy gets back to moral philosophy. And I'm not big on morality because I think it's relative. It grows with awareness, whatever the morality is, and awareness is key. And organically, you might come into a state where you're behaving in a way that most people say, hey, that's really pretty moral, They don't know quite what morality is, but they know it when they see it, let's say, okay? Gurdjieff is this way. Once you're beyond all your conditioning, you'll become an objectively moral agent, okay? Well, that remains to be seen. I'm kind of skeptical about that, but we'll all know when we're there, okay? When we finally are beyond all our conditioning, which no one's ever done it, including Gurdjieff. Anyway, recently, I ran afoul of a troll, and I kind of had a little cognition that the troll was demonstrating to me something I thought was like, well, this is what's wrong with the entire world. If you're going to talk political and moral philosophy, he is really embodying what's wrong. I mean, it's just all there. Okay, he left this comment on my channel page. Here it is. That last part about sense of humor doesn't even really make that much sense. You can go to Beelzebub 5 and 6 and see if he was saying anything particularly humorous. If he's the same guy I think he was, he marked me down for not laughing at one of his jokes on the Imbolc video. He made a joke at Lucy's expense. I got a little touchy on her behalf, and he didn't like that, and I ended up blocking that person. So if they're the same person, that's how that would tie in. I mean, if he's the same guy, I don't know. He wasn't saying anything particularly funny on Beelzebub 5 or 6. I did delete some of his remarks because it just got to be too much, but I left the gist. This began with 3 words for Beelzebub 5, swing and miss. Now I saw that, and I wanted him to elaborate on that. And that's what he calls not being able to put up with criticism. And what I said to that at one point was, it's not criticism. It's, you know, what am I supposed to even make of it? You didn't like it, so swing and miss in what respect? What do you think I was aiming for, and how come I struck out? I mean, in what way? Okay, all I managed to call him out about with that was the video didn't have any substance, though weirdly he liked Beelzebub 6 because he'd already thought some things like that before, so I guess that's why that was good. I don't know what. Trolls don't make a whole lot of sense, not when you try to pin them down. It's all attitude, and I didn't appreciate his attitude. I've had that from trolls before. I mean, that, you know, well, I do it to show other people reading the page who may be more sympathetic, you know, I can handle myself. And but they call that being incapable of taking criticism. Okay, I don't really quite know what a troll would be satisfied with. I don't even know that anything I would do would be okay with them, because they're coming from a power ethic. The power ethic is to demean you, to insult you, to take issue with you. In his case, he just wanted attention, like a lot of trolls. He just wanted attention. Okay, and that meant he could say good things about one video, but that other video, no, and blah, 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 blah. I think it was all to set up a situation where he could say that one remark he left there. I probably had deleted some remarks of his, or I blocked him under another name at some point, and he really had a bug up about that. And so there was probably a lot of just role-playing going on, that even when he was saying good things, he wasn't on the level. He was just trying to get a situation going that he could, you know, sound off about. But in any case, it was all about power first. All of it was power first. It's all power for a troll. Okay? And it's that way too often with nations and classes and races. It's about power. Okay, in his mind, in his reality tunnel, his way of perceiving me was that because my way of challenging him came with a degree of impatience and even animosity, matching his attitude with my own attitude, I was reacting. And because I was reacting, that means I wasn't a perfectly centered Gurdjieffian avatar, whatever. So anyways, I'm having a bad day, and I sit down to my computer, and I have 2 comments, one on Beelzebub 5 and one on Beelzebub 6, both from this troll. Okay, the first one's hit and miss, you know, the video's a loser. And the second one is kind of more sympathetic, and he's posturing about how he knows Beelzebub and blah, blah, blah. And it's the feeling of being the new kid at a new school, and somebody gives you a hard time, and then later on the guy shows you he's not so bad. And if you're willing to put up with a certain amount of, you know, attitude, you'll be one of the guys in no time. Okay? And to give you a little bit of background in this, in Gurdjieff groups, there's often someone who plays the part of the Great Oz, okay? And he's the one who will pick on everybody, and you're not supposed to react, because if you're a, you know, a completely evolved person, you won't react. The irony of that is, if you were a completely evolved person, why would you need to be going to this study group? Okay, so it really is what it is. Okay, and people will put up with it because maybe it's an author, you know, and it's a legitimate group, and the person's been there for years, so he should be the Great Oz. And I imagine there are other groups where everybody's picking at everybody else, you know. It's nowhere. It's not anything I respect, because it's too open to abuse. Well, I say, morally, treat each other the way you'd want someone else to treat you. See what happens, and if it's not working out, then communicate. And if communication doesn't work out, it calls for respect for territory. And when territory falls to pieces, then, and only then, it calls for an effective power ethic. Okay, because he's not even respecting your territory. Now, this guy went off after I blocked him. He made an alternative page for himself, called himself James Foxish, so he'd know that I knew that it was him. Came to the page and said something vaguely supportive of himself or sympathetic on the channel page itself that I left. I left it there. And then he went to Beelzebub Up 5 and agreed with himself under that different name. And this is what trolls do. It's all power. Of course it is. Sometimes when you're getting harassed on the internet, okay, by trolls, it's just one troll doing it under different names. It's power. It's all power, and it's power first. He didn't so much want to give me a hard time as to just get the attention and be in charge of the conversation. Okay? He'd validate and invalidate. He's one of those. But as far as passing his test for being a spiritual giant, it came to mind something I hadn't occurred to me before. I spent a summer with a Scientologist, and you learn these training routines, they call them TRs. And you're perfectly here and now with someone as they try to take you out of this here and now space you're in. All right? And it's a very empowering thing. Your point of power is the here and now. It is. Absolutely it is. But the here and now is about more than just power. But it is about power. Now, for a Scientologist, power, the here and now tends to be all about power. All of it is. Okay. And you'll see that practicing Scientologist applying his TRs to different situations. It can be a matter of rote response. I mean, he's not necessarily relating to anyone. Okay? I've met clears who are, high up the hierarchy of consciousness, the consciousness ladder there with the Scientologists, clears their behavior can be downright robotic. Okay? They're on automatic pilot. Okay, most people would agree that Scientology really isn't the ticket. But I have to insist that they do have good power spaces. They have excellent power spaces. And that a Scientologist would have passed this troll's test for spiritual giant. And most of us would agree that we are kind of hesitant to think of a Scientologist as a spiritual giant. All right? In dire situations, I can handle a lot of stress. Dire situations. I can turn off that reaction thing, and a lot of it has to do with that early training and touching bases with the here and now, in the here and now, in that respect. That respect of just pure power. Okay? It's good. It's cool. But I don't think it should be the first thing between people or between classes or races or nations. I think it should be a last resort. And getting into all this energy with this troll, I thought, this is like a metaphor. Trolls really do come from everything with power first. Of course, a troll doesn't know power in the sense of being here and now and perceiving in a centered way to turn their situation around. I mean, I don't mean power in that sense. The troll is driven by a sense of inadequacy and a need to take it out on someone that the troll disagrees with or dislikes. And if that troll can be satisfied in his mind that he has made that person feel more inadequate than himself or herself, then the troll has won. Okay? That is power to a troll. They're coming from powerlessness and a sense of relief from their powerlessness by convincing themselves they've put you in an even weaker position than they are. Okay? That's the power of reaction. Okay? And we all have it. All right? We all have it. I reacted to this guy. But it was very easy to get him to react to me in turn. Okay? And to push his buttons as he was trying to push mine. So who was he to put me to the test? Give me a break.